Hey guys, Lincoln Parks here, and today's podcast was brought to you by We Are Henry. We Are Henry is one of our sponsors. If you have not been or seen We Are Henry magazine, beautiful magazine. You can look at it, flip through the pages, look local stories that are happening right here in Henry County. All you have to do, visit wearehenry.com, our local magazine. We've partnered with We Are Henry. So if you go to wearehenry.com and then click on the advertising button at the top, which is wearehenry.com, We Are Henry, my local. If you go click on that link, you'll see all the advertising plans that we have partnered together. You get a banner, you get in the digital newsletter. You are on both the websites for My Local Henry and We Are Henry. I'm telling you, it's a great partnership, great community partner. We Are Henry, and I know you see these magazines all around. Check out our partner, wearehenry.com. Now, let's get back to the program. Hey guys, I want to welcome you to the I'm Local podcast. Today, I have the opportunity to speak with Ms. Sandra Richardson of Gigi's House. Sandra, welcome to the podcast. Absolutely, absolutely. So Sandra, I know there are a lot of people that are going to listen to this podcast, watch this podcast, and they want to know who Gigi's House is. What does the organization do? So in a just a brief synopsis, can you share with us and the audience, what does Gigi's House do?
Sure, I'd be glad to. So Gigi's House is a safe house. It's a home for girls who are rescued from human trafficking. For those of you who may be aware, human trafficking is also used under or it's stated under the acronym of CSEC, which is the acronym for commercial sexual. And so those are our youth who fall under that category where they've been sold or used for sexual favors. And of course, we all know our children are not for sale. It's illegal.
Right.
And that is what Gigi's House stands for, to stop that. We are here to help eradicate that.
Yes.
Gigi's House has been in existence for quite a while now. We actually opened in 2016, opened a great home right at the line of Henry and Clayton County, where it offers 20 bed spaces. It's 2 homes for girls who are rescued from human trafficking, and gives them hope, gives them treatment, gives them a safe place to live. So our goal at Gigi's House is to provide opportunity for girls between the ages of 13 to 18 months of safety, 18 months of hope, growth, healing. We're faith-based.
Yes.
So
yes, amen.
That's that.
Yeah. So, Sandra, I mean, you shared a lot, and that is, I know a lot of people may be also thinking, this doesn't happen in Henry County. A lot of people are like, this kind of thing, we see this on TV.
Yeah.
Like this doesn't necessarily happen in Henry County. Can you share a little bit about, how's Henry County being affected in this?
Well, let me give you some statistics.
Yeah.
And these are, more worldwide, nationwide, but it also hits in our backyard.
Right.
So a lot of people, just aren't aware of how close this is. The average age for a child to be trafficked in the United States is 12 years old. And we see many times, in the news, even, I look at some of the neighborhood, when they post, the neighborhood postings on Facebook and social media, that this child is missing. And I get afraid every time I see it, like, where's this child? What's happening? But 12 years old is the average age for a child to come up missing for trafficking. There are over 100 girls that were sold at least 10 times a night in the metro Atlanta area. We're right in the metro Atlanta area. A lot of people don't want to accept that, don't want to believe it, but we're right here at the cusp of it. And
Right.
so it affects Henry County. We take girls at Gigi's house from all over the state of Georgia. And unfortunately, I do get girls who have a Henry County address. It's unfortunate. They have been rescued from trafficking, and we're trying to get them back home. We're trying to help
Mm.
them. We're trying to heal them. So it does exist. And we want to get the message across. Um, this is a problem that it's a big huge problem because there's billions of dollars put into this at
Yes.
so many different levels.
Mm.
It's not just a socioeconomic issue where it's people who are trying to survive. It's also people who have excessive funds,
Right.
and they're buying into it. They're playing into it. So for Henry County, we want to definitely get the word out and let people know that the average of our girls is 12, and just make sure
Wow.
that you pay attention to that. There are 360,000 children in the United States that are trafficked at any given time. In that
Mm.
number of those
Wow.
360,000, we have to,
Wow.
we have to ask yourself a question. How many youth do we have in our backyard, in our area right now that are missing and we don't know where they're at or what has
That's
happened to
right.
them? It's a high probability that it may be a trafficking situation. So we have to always keep that in mind. I don't want anybody to ever just put that aside and think it's not happening. It truly is happening.
So let me ask you, Sandra. So, another misconception that I think people also have is the fact that, this may be happening to girls or boys that are in a lower income environment. Um, Talk a little bit about, how maybe this can be anybody, any child. It doesn't matter, where you're from. You could be in a high class environment. You could be, wherever. Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you mentioned boys, because I know I've mentioned a lot about girls on this
Yes.
conversation today, but this does affect the male population as well. So I just
Mm.
want to get that point across, and thank you for mentioning that, Lincoln. But just as you were
Yeah.
saying, like as far as our socioeconomic statuses, people who like are in a more high classification, it definitely affects all statuses. And people would assume that people get into trafficking and people maybe use it to survive or use it in terms of making money. No, sometimes people don't even get into it because it was a plan. Sometimes they're
Right.
tricked, sometimes they're brought into it because they didn't even know, they had no idea that this was what this adventure was going to turn out to be. You
That's right.
have girls who just go out for a fun night or go out for a weekend, because we have this opportunity to go on this fun trip with friends, and then they meet someone, and that someone gives them this great story of how you can become this overnight sensation, this
Yeah.
overnight model, or just we can make all your dreams come true. and
Yeah.
and the next thing you know, they're trafficked. They don't know where they're at. They've lost all ends. um, and the traffickers may use drugs to entice the youth. So there's many ways that this happens. So it doesn't happen just because people need money. It
Right.
happens because some youth decide, I just want to get away. I want to leave home. I want to be independent at the age of 16.
Mm.
I'm not
Yeah.
getting along with my parents. Um, I think I can do this. I'm going to pack a
Right.
bag and I'm going to hit the road. And next thing you know, they're trafficked. They're, becoming
Wow.
a sexually trafficked victim. So it happens, and you don't have to necessarily do it because I was in need of money, I was homeless, or I didn't have things. There are many stories that we hear. There are many girls that we rescue at Gigi's house that were or are survivors of human trafficking, and their stories are different but alike at the same time. And they come from
That's
so
right.
many.
And I'm glad you said that because I know, there's so many different backgrounds and, so many different, experiences and things that have happened. I know a couple years ago, when I first learned about the organization, and I know you guys were in the process of building another building and expanding. Talk a little bit about that. Where are you guys at right now?
Well, I wanted to also introduce, I see our COO has joined us, Amadi Leaks. And so she probably has a lot to share about our expansion because she's had a lot to do with our expansion, haven't you, Miss Amadi? I think if you can let her
Yeah,
in.
Yes.
Um,
It's so Amadi, definitely thanks for joining us. So yeah, if you don't mind tackling that question, like, from your expansion, like I know a couple years ago when I first learned about the organization, you were growing and you had one location, I think, and then you're expanding into a bigger location. So to talk a little bit about that and where you guys are now.
sure. And so now we actually have a second location that can now house an additional 10 girls. And we actually broke ground on our administrative building, which will now have the gymnasium. It will have classrooms. We'll also have therapy offices where doctors and physicians can come on site to treat our girls, where we won't have to transport all of our girls for their doctor visits to go and see physicians. So it's going to be a holistic, we call Gigi's house a ministry village, if you will,
Right.
because we sit on an 8-acre campus where everything happens for our girls 365 days a year. And so
Wow.
as you can imagine, it's not just your normal typical group home. It is a ministry village where all things transformation happen for all of our youth. And
Hmm.
so since that expansion, we have seen incredible transformation happen for our youth, and it's happening at a rapid pace. And so, right now, the walls are going up. We actually have security and alarm team on campus today at the admin building as it is going up. And so, that project is slated to be completed somewhere around the end of this year. And
Okay.
yeah, and so July 7th, we'll actually have a walkthrough where we will celebrate putting scriptures on the walls of the
Wow.
administrative building. Yes, that's something that we do with each building, where we will, just go in and just pray over that particular building and over the youth that will inhabit that building. But it's a milestone for us because for all of our youth, every time they come in, we typically have to transport them out for all of their visits, and to be able to partner with physicians that can come on site and all of
Mm,
their activities, whether that is a youth that wants to, further their education, but be able to partner
that's right.
with um, people in the community to come on site and provide those services for our youth as opposed to just transporting them each time. It's going to be
Yeah.
huge for our team and for our youth as well.
Yeah, that's amazing because, like you said, you guys are, it's a
mhm.
ministry, and you are, not only, rescuing, uh, um, these young ladies from sex trafficking, but you're also pouring into them and pouring life back into them through the word, and that's amazing because that's rare because a lot of organizations, they do great work, but I think in my own opinion, I think that the added benefit of you know the word of God is that's layered on top of that. That's really that's the healing process. I know that there's other things that go into it, but having that piece layered on, that's amazing. So I'm so happy to hear that you guys are pouring into them that way.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And let me add to Lincoln, we have serviced 215 girls at Gigi's house since they
Wow.
opened the doors. So we're very proud of that. And as Amadi was saying, this is a growing ministry. So with the additional bed spaces that we plan to offer, we just plan to just grow and be able to pour more.
Absolutely. So let me ask you guys, and any one of you could answer this question. So as you're growing, and you're wanting to 200 and some plus females and girls that you guys have rescued. I wish the number was zero. Right. I wish the number was zero. But I know you're growing, and it's unfortunate. But how can people help? How can they donate? What are some things that people can do right now if they want to be a part or help with the organization?
Well, there's always,
The
oh, you
best,
go ahead, Amadi, and then I can tell from the aspect of the organization itself on a daily basis, but I'm gonna let Amadi go ahead and tell you guys from a benefactor part, from the financial part of it. Go
Wow.
ahead.
Okay.
yes, from a benefactor part, the best way that you can donate is number one, you can definitely donate by visiting our website, which is www.gigishouseatl.org. Another
Okay.
way you can get involved is, I always say this everywhere I go: if you see something, say something. Don't wait until you see a young girl's
Mm,
face or a boy's face on an ad, on a TV station, in a newspaper. If you see something strange, say
that's right.
something. Call the National
Mm,
Human Trafficking
yeah.
Hotline. Reach out to a law enforcement officer and say something. And that's the most important way that you can use your voice to
Yes.
use to create action, is say something, no matter how small it is, because it can impact a life, and know what these statistics are. And so those are ways that you can get involved.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for
And
sharing
we
that.
do have a mentorship program, and we love our volunteers. We could not thrive without volunteers. And so we're
Yes.
always needing and wanting people to pair up with our young girls to become mentors. And that comes through
Yes.
volunteering, being able to come in and physically, spend time with the girls, physically touch and talk to them, and, grieve and pray, and, just fellowship with them. So that is a
Yes.
great need. We see so much change through just fellowship. That can change a person's life in so many ways. And and
Absolutely.
a lot of times I know as a nonprofit, we do speak of our financial needs. We do speak of, the support we need. However, there's the things that we need on a daily basis to operate and to function. Having a house full of girls, food is a source that we have to
Yes.
have. These girls eat a lot. And so with
Yes.
that with a budget that we have, I do a lot of the shopping there. So the grocery store, is a favorite for the girls. We spend a lot of time there. We often ask our volunteers and our donors, to help us out with items such as just general food items, breakfast items, grab and go, fruits, vegetables. We like to give our girls healthy options. A lot of times when they come in, they've
Right.
survived off of snacks, and we try to get away from that. Um,
Yes.
we have to meet their medical needs. Some of our girls come in. I'll give you an example. If one is a diabetic, we're buying diabetic test strips, and it's clothing, it's it's a lot of household items. We're constantly cleaning and keeping the house clean. I have to share that we
Yes.
often get compliments. We are licensed by the state, so they come in and do quite a few inspections. And I can share with you that our state inspector often compliments and says that we are one of the homes that she visits that she always finds it very clean, and she's very proud of that. And our girls help us do that. They come in, and that's a life skill that we teach them. And having 20
That's right.
beds, 20 bedrooms, not beds, but bedrooms that you have to clean and take care
Bedrooms,
of.
yes.
This is a life skill we teach the girls. And we're very proud of that, they're able to help us keep the house clean. So cleaning products.
So I mean, so it seems like it's all of
Mhm.
the above that you guys need, because it's you're running an organization, like you said, it's a home with 20 bedrooms,
Yeah.
and you need everything. And so I'm putting out a call right now. If you guys are watching this, and you're or listening in your car while you're driving, I want you to get in contact with Sandra, get in contact with Amadi, over at
Mhm.
Gigi's house, and make sure that you donate, whatever it is. We don't care whatever it is, because you're going to be helping change a life. You're going to be helping, to pour into somebody. And I think, and Sandra, you mentioned this. Another thing is being
Mhm.
there in person. If you have the time, you have the calling, on your life, that you want to mentor someone, go down and help and mentor these young ladies, because just hearing from somebody else, even if
Yeah.
it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is, whatever time you have, just to go down and just have a
Yeah.
conversation, and just talk and share, what you have on your heart. I know that can help as well. Sandra, I just wanted to ask one last question before we wrap up, and that is, any partnerships that you guys have in the community. What are some of the other organizations that you guys are working with?
Well, of course, I think, did you mention Relevant Church? Relevant Church is a partner with us.
Yes.
And we also partner
Yes.
with Tabernacle of Praise, Church International. We partner with, of course, the local DFACs, which is Clayton County, Henry County DFACs. And we
Yes.
partner with several of the food organizations that are there, the local food banks. Miss Amadi, you know of um, you could name that have been great.
Yes, we have also partnered with, we're also partnered with
Also,
WellStar as well. They have partnered with us to provide care packs for our girls as well. And so we've also partnered with the World
mhm,
Chamber of Commerce. They have partnered
yeah,
with
Okay.
us as well. So there are several other, even smaller organizations that have partnered with us to provide care packs for our girls.
Gotcha. Oh, that's great. The reason why I asked about that was because I know this is something that you can't do on your own, and you need community partners, that are going to help to pour in. So, I know this subject is one that is a sore subject, and a lot of people are oblivious to it, and they just look the other way. And I'm going to just share one quick story with you. Amadi, you had mentioned this, where you just said just to get involved, right? And my wife and I, we were in Las Vegas. We saw something suspicious, so we were in the lobby, and we saw this young girl with this gentleman, and it just didn't look right. Didn't look right. Didn't seem right, or anything like that. And we saw him there, and I called the authorities, when I saw that, because I my wife and I, we were just sitting there, eating, and you could just see that it was not like the right kind of uh, interaction that was going on. And so this is something that that I kind of always have in the, in the forefront of my mind as I'm out in the community and I'm looking around. I have two daughters. I have an 18-year-old and I have an 8-year-old. And so, this is something that, I'm always talking to them about and educating them and, social media and all the stuff like that that's going on. So, I definitely, reason why I share that is because, you never know where you can be and where you are and the situations that you're in. And, if you do see something, definitely, like you said, Amadi, to just contact the authorities as soon as you can to help out. So,
Absolutely. Thank you so
yeah,
much for sharing that. I always like to kind of end on this note with these statistics. Sex trafficking is a $32 billion a year industry. And
wow,
unfortunately, according to the International Labor Organization, it has generated $150 billion a year
sickening.
globally. $150 billion a year on average here in the Atlanta area. You're talking about the average John is averaging about $32,000 a week here in the
Wow,
Atlanta area. And in Miami, that is a close $31,000 a week. And so we've got an epidemic happening. And we've
that's
got
right.
a trial that's happening here in our city right now with Red Roof Inn that is being very closely watched. And so
Yes,
we've got an issue that is affecting our youth. And so every single one of us that has a sister, that has a brother, that has a niece, a nephew, should be enraged and should be
that's
concerned
right.
about the issue of human trafficking because it
Mhm.
affects every one of us.
That's right.
And so we need to ask ourselves what we are doing to combat this issue. And so we thank you so much for having us as
Absolutely.
guests on your podcast today. And we appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
No, no, yeah, I definitely just want to thank you guys for everything that you guys are doing. And I mean, it is a ministry and I could hear your hearts and feel it. And, I just want to
Yeah.
say thank you to you guys. And we want to just share this with everyone that, they, like you say, they may be oblivious to what's going on. But we want to raise some more awareness. So I just want to thank you guys for doing what you do as well.
Yeah, and Gigi's House does provide human trafficking awareness training to corporations and to the
Okay.
community. So if there are organizations that are listening and they would like for us to come out and provide
Mhm.
human trafficking awareness training, that is something that we do provide to community organizations and to corporations. We also provide it to law enforcement agencies as well.
Yes.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. If you don't mind, just if you can email
Mhm.
that information to me as well. We have a
Sure.
newsletter that we partner with this, and we have quite a few people on our newsletter. So I'd like to shoot that out as well when we get
Yes.
this going. So thank you for
Thank you
sharing that.
so
Well, thank you guys, and thank you for just sharing your hearts, and I truly appreciate it. And we'll definitely
Absolutely.
be in
Thank you for
touch.
having us.
Okay.
Take care, you
All
too.
right.
Bye bye.
Okay. Take care. Bye bye.